among many examples. I have an Indian tribe in a very rural part of the far northern end of my district, the Elk Valley Rancheria. They've used Brownfield Program funding to redevelop a couple of abandoned motels that were highly contaminated with asbestos, and they are turning those into really important economic development projects. So thank you for that. An even better example is in another rural part of my district, Humboldt County, where at the height of the timber industry there was a pulp mill on a spit of land called Samoa, with the pristine Pacific Ocean on one side and the pristine Humboldt Bay on the other side. It was abandoned. The Chinese company that came to own it at one point basically walked away from it, leaving all sorts of toxic chemicals in place in leaking tanks. And we discovered that millions of gallons of highly toxic pulping liquors were leaking right as we went into the government shutdown a couple of years ago. And I really want to thank your agency, because that would seem like the worst possible time for a member of Congress to have a crisis like that, right in the tsunami zone. Could have been one of the worst toxic incidents in the country if something had gone wrong. And EPA leapt into action with other local government partners, and we got that site cleaned up, despite the shutdown that definitely complicated that effort. So you're doing terrific work, and I'm very grateful to your program and your agency. I wanted to ask you about a problem, a very vexing problem in my district and throughout the West, and that is trespass marijuana grows. These are illegal activities that are happening more and more on public lands. I've seen these sites in wilderness areas, and the level of pollution and environmental destruction is quite significant, with rodenticides and highly concentrated fertilizers and just about every terrible practice you can imagine in very sensitive, pristine areas. We can interdict and shut down these sites, but we don't have funding in most cases to actually clean them up. And so I wanted to ask you if you'd given any thought about that, about how folks who are affected by this on public lands throughout the West may be able to work with EPA and the Superfund program. Congress did definitely highlight controlled substances as a source of pollution for this program. But I wanted to hear your thoughts, and also whether there are steps that communities like the ones I represent should be taking to better access those funds.
I've not thought about this marijuana problem. There have been other situations where drug production has resulted in contamination, and in some cases we've used the Superfund program to go in and conduct cleanup. In other cases, we provided resources to communities to conduct site assessment or cleanup. And we could follow up. We've also had work with law enforcement of where there's some opportunity in the proceeds from an enforcement action that they may take to bring that back into local communities. But we can talk more about
I would love to work with you more on that. And then my second and probably last question involves the California drought, and you know that we're in the 4th year of a critical drought. We have entire communities in Southern California that have lost wells and lost drinking water supplies because of contamination from perchlorate, or in some cases nitrates and other pollutants. The Superfund program has provided some benefits, the Brownfield program as well. But I often hear from stakeholders that cleaning up contaminated aquifers, getting them back into the drinking water supply, is sometimes an afterthought. And with this critical drought forcing us to value every possible source of potable water that could be brought online and be part of the solution to get us through it, I wonder if you have any thoughts on how your program might be better leveraged to help stretch our drinking water supplies in places like that.
Yeah, I mean, it's really more the Superfund program, the Brownfield program, and we fundamentally believe that we should protect and restore drinking water sources, and that's and I don't think at all that it is an afterthought. Although cleaning up aquifers are very tough and takes a longer period of time, it's just the technical nature of cleaning up groundwater aquifers. But I also think that what we'd like on the Brownfield side, there are opportunities to prevent contamination of groundwater. One of the things we've done is try to link up things like green infrastructure, things like preventative measures to prevent further contamination as part of the footprint of a new project.
All right. Thank you for your time. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Nolan.